yesterday I started getting text messages. My phone was blowing up. I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, did you see Tiger Eye's new website? Tiger Eye was an AI company founded by Tracy and Ralph at PlanGrid. And they've been focused on general sales and marketing. And it looks like they're going to be refocusing their efforts on construction.
I can take a bet. My bet is that AI will be kind of commoditized within the search space and within the agent space, and those which will dive deep into particular like workflows within companies and tackle with their like agent solutions that will win.
None of these companies are building their own foundational models. They're using models and they're using other people's models. And so I think that it's going to be a go-to-market race, and whoever does the best pricing, packaging, messaging builds the best team that allows them to scale as quickly.
The headline is that the time it takes for a contractor, a subcontractor to wait to get paid on a project is unbelievably costly. They tap into credit cards, personal savings, retirement, all this other money to be able to like fund their projects.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Bricks, Bucks, and Bytes. All right, today we are going to be discussing. There is a new AI player on the block from a very interesting and exciting founding team, which everyone who listens to this podcast will be very familiar with. So excited to get into the details there. I don't know if you both noticed, but there was an event this week, Trimble Dimensions, and I saw a little article with the 5 key takeaways, so we can quickly run through those. We are also heading to Boston on Monday, and we will be there for the Boost Suffolk Day, so we can have a little bit of chat about that. Then we will have Will from Rabbet, and they today have just released their 2025 construction payments report. So interested to hear what's going in there and who isn't getting paid. Then we'll have David from NextLight. They raised a 9.2 million Series A for energy control coatings to Windows. Interesting. Then we will have Vardhan.
That's very interesting, yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Vardhan from Acelab, who raised 13.5 million Series A for materials management. Dustin, Martin.
We've got all of these people. Where is Patrick?
Well, you should tell me whereabouts in the world you are, because you are flying all the time, both of you.
Our honey week in Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
And she lets you take time for us. Thank her. Yes, wonderful woman.
I didn't even have to force it. I just said I have a podcast at 11 it is here.
Maybe that's not a good thing, man. Maybe that's like a sign.
No, of course it's not.
Dustin, whereabouts are you?
I'm calling in from New York this week, and then Boston next week.
Nice. We will see you there.
We'll see you there.
Patrick, where are you? Nowhere to be seen. Okay. Tell us, either of you, about this new AI player on the block. Dustin, you want to go?
Sure. So yesterday I started getting text messages. My phone was blowing up. I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, did you see Tiger Eye's new website? So for those of you that don't know, Tiger Eye was an AI company founded by Tracy and Ralph at PlanGrid. And they've been focused on general sales and marketing. And it looks like they're going to be refocusing their efforts on construction. So obviously many people love PlanGrid. It was a hell of a company. And I've known Tracy a very long time. Anecdotally, a little story, we actually started our career at the same construction company. So we go back a while. Started the same year, same position. She was out of the Bay Area. I was out of Sacramento. Nice. Yeah. So we will get them on this podcast. I was texting with her yesterday, and she said heads down, talking with customers and solving problems. So welcome back, Tracy and Ralph, to Construction Tech.
Yeah,
welcome back. And do we know where will the angle be? Like what they will be tackling?
Let's wait for them to tell us.
Okay.
I like the
Yeah.
website. It just says AI for construction. Tiger Eye eliminates bullshit so construction professionals can focus on building
right.
the infrastructure that makes our world work. Awesome. That's such a, I've never seen that's such a great headline and sub-headline. Straight to the point.
Yes. I'm sure Tracy came up with that. She's known for, actually, I think they had that they used the no bullshit with PlanGrid. I'm pretty sure that was part of their marketing.
Ah, yeah. Do you know what?
Mhm.
Good. I think it's great. I think that the AI space is hotting up in construction. There are a few key players, and I think maybe one or two emerging now. A Tiger Eye as well. It's getting competitive out there. I think the next few years are going to be
And that's
interesting.
what it's great.
Do you think that there
Great
will
for
be
end
like,
users.
yeah? Do you think there will be, either of you think there will be like a clear winner with lack of a definition to that question, or will it kind of be spread evenly? Like you might see in more like consumer industries, you have the sort of big 4 or 5 or whatever it is. Do you think it'll be the same in construction, or do you think there really be one, which is the gold standard, which everyone's like, yeah, these are the ones?
If I can take a bet, my bet is that AI will be kind of commoditized within the search space and within the agent space, and those which will dive deep into very particular like workflows within companies and tackle with their like agent solutions that will win. But that's just my early guess right now. What do you guys
Well,
think?
there is nuance between using the word search versus what language models do. So
That's fair.
search is a
Yeah.
little different. Language models are a little different. There's a proper use case for search technologies, and there's a proper use case for language models. But in general, I think I'm trying to state this without offending friends, because I'm friends with everyone and I want to be neutral. But I will state my positions. I think that there will be winners that are really good at bringing insights and solving business outcomes or reaching business objectives or conclusions across the data platforms. However, I think there
What
is
does it
still
mean?
going to be, well, in construction, you have many different data platforms. So you have Procore Autodesk, you have CMIC, SAP, Oracle, some of these other tools. You have all of your pre-con software. Some of these people have their, they'll have insurance or risk management. There's a lot of different places where data is generated and often stored. And so in those applications themselves, I tend to think that the companies that'll have the advantages are like Procore announced their agent kit. I think that they'll be able to produce agents that help those people use those tools more effectively than someone else. So I can see a world where there is an AI platform that oversees how we ingest information, analyze it across all platforms. And I can see still the application layers using AI and agents to make the individual users of those applications much more effective. That's kind of the world I see.
Yeah, my conclusion would be that you would probably, I don't think there'll be like one company. I think you will have, similar to how the setup of the industry is right now, right? You have 4 or 5, and they will be the market leaders in the space. And
Well,
everyone
and
will use
why I think that's true is none of these companies are building their own foundational models. They're using models and they're using other people's models. And so I think that it's going to be a go-to-market race, and whoever does the best pricing, packaging, messaging builds the best team that allows them to scale as quickly. There's also, we kind of talked about, there is subtle difference approaches between like data grid, trunk tools, whatever Tiger Eye does, and you insert like 10 other companies. There are different approaches in what each of those organizations are taking.
Yeah, I think it's super early time still to see where things will unravel. So yeah, it's only guessing right now.
Yeah, exciting times are here. So we'll be speaking to Tracy, hopefully early in the new year about what's going on in Tiger Eye. Did any of you see any of the coverage from Trimble Dimensions? Dustin, was Edify in a booth out there?
We were not, because we did a company offsite a week before. I actually wish we were, and then I already had this New York trip scheduled. So I would say I'm out of the loop. I want to hear what went on. Trimble has been really making a push to kind of upgrade their image because they've basically been known as a tech acquirer that allows things to rot. So I know that they're trying to do some stuff.
Mm. Yeah, I think a lot of people went there. The event got a lot of attention, and certainly all over my feed.
What's the headline, Owen,
Yeah.
on the Trimble news?
Okay, so I found an article of 5 key takeaways. Let's go through the headlines quickly. So Project Site 360 Capture brings reality capture to project management. So Trimble introduced Project Site 360 Capture, a new feature that integrates 360-degree imagery directly into project management workflows. The tool allows contractors to record panoramic images on the job site, which automatically processed and mapped to project drawings using AI.
Yeah, there were startups tackling it maybe 2-3 years ago, I think. I don't know if it was using AI at the time, but it seems like.
Well, there's a lot of startups in that general space, from open space,
Yes.
Doxel, Construction Site, which was bought by the drone deploy, Onsite IQ. So I don't remember if Trimble acquired a piece of technology for this or not.
No.
I would venture to guess they did.
I'm just trying to Google it quickly now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether like this still requires people of Trimble to have a subscription, one of those services, or whether it's like a whole new offering that they're offering. I can't quite see, but that'd be super interesting if they've just launched their own, and now anyone using Trimble software doesn't need one of them.
I mean, it makes sense for Trimble because they have the total station. They've done a lot of stuff on the project site historically. They also have the go-to-market team to like really push site products.
Could there be a trend where the other platforms follow suit? Launch their own. Reality capture, an interesting space. It's very like moving quite fast actually at this stage. Lots of people innovating in different ways there and trying to tackle it in more novel ways. We saw Build-Ots and Gender the other week, where they're going to more of a workforce real-time kind of progress tracking option. We obviously had Open Space and Disperse last week. We had Track 3D a few weeks ago. All doing this in kind of like, I guess the outcome is very similar, but the way that they achieve the outcome is slightly nuanced. And now we obviously have Trimble with their own product, which looks like, again, a space to watch.
What's interesting?
We should do some kind of like poly market on here, guys. I'm thinking like future of construction.
I would love to set up a poly market on betting on construction startups.
Yeah,
let's do this.
That's such a cool idea. Okay, watch this space.
Who was it? Oh, no, it's funny you bring that up. So I was actually sitting down with Tiago. He's the CEO of DataGrid. And I don't know if I'll say it, whatever. Tiago and I were building a list, and he's like, all right, Dustin, prediction on XYZ company and where they end up. I will never share that list, but it's kind of fun. We went through and said what we think they're going to end up doing.
Yeah. Hey, that's a great... Oh, yeah. I think we could do it. We could... I don't know if we need to create the poly market, but we could either do it on poly market. I'm not 100% certain how it works. If anyone wants to help us, go for it. But I think it would be cool to be like predictions on outright winner of AI, or a prediction on like outright winner of reality capture.
On like every you can do on like every space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we should do this.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That would be way too much fun.
Guys, just general thought on this project site 360 capture from Trimble. What interests me here is if a company like Trimble sets up this project 360 capture, and that is a competing software to current like other startups provide software providers which tackle this space. Like general thought, like what do you guys think? Is it how good it can be if this is just like a one other product that is created within the large company versus very specialized startup tackling only this niche within the space? I really struggle to see generalist being better than a startup tackling like this space particularly?
Oh, I think it's probably trash, but
It's a cool announcement, though.
Thanks for confirming my assumption.
Yeah, I'm not going to add much
it's
to it. Much
probably
more to
trash.
it.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go to the
that's
next.
totally what happens, right? You're the big company, you just release something and it says, we check this box. Yeah, but that works when your RFP process is about checking boxes. And sometimes those RFP processes are about checking boxes. But when people actually evaluate things and they realize, yeah, you check the box, but you do it in like an awful way. Like,
Okay.
Does it add shareholder value?
All right.
Maybe is the question. Okay, let's go to number 2, 3, 4, and 5. Number 2, Trimble Marketplace expands with AI and workflow automation. Trimble Marketplace has more than 100 verified integrations. Was expanded. Oh, thank you, computer, for shutting that down when I was reading. Was expanded with new solutions for Trimble, Connect, and Project Site. The update includes integrations powered by LLMs that help automate repetitive administrative tasks like drawing imports and metadata extraction. Cool. Among the additions is an integration with DataGrid. There we go, which enables AI agents to execute search and task functions with Project Site, reducing manual data entry and improving efficiency across project teams. Voila. Can you guess what number 3 is?
AI in construction.
I'm pretty sure if you say that about anything
Just
these
bring it
days,
up
you'll
again.
be pretty close. Yes. Agents, agentic AI platform, and Trimble Labs push intelligent automation. Trimble showcases agentic AI platform, a framework for building and deploying intelligent agents across its software ecosystem. The platform, piloted as Trimble Agent Studio, wow, original, supports the creation of AI-driven workflows to help users analyze data and automate tasks securely and at scale.
That, to me, it's fascinating. Like, people trying to sell the story of like, oh, agents here, agents there. We just adding agents here. This is just the next step of this company to evolve, yeah. And it should happen kind of seamlessly. Listen, guys, now we collapsed your time doing this feature to performing this task by adding this feature, and here it is. Like, people get excited about the agents announcements, like such a.
It's pretty hysterical because a lot of these things, like some of the use cases that they're saying, oh, we have an agent for this, literally could have been done if they had just built good software from the beginning. Like some of the agents are solving really, really terrible problems because the software is really, really bad. And all right, what do you think's the over or under? Because Autodesk hasn't announced an agent kit yet. So the over or under that Autodesk announces one within the next 3 months. Or would you take the over or the under?
That's fair. That's fair. That's the first poly market.
Yeah.
I would say, well, you probably have some better information, but I would say no. I would say it will happen after New Year.
Oh,
you probably have some insiders
well,
news.
that's why it's a fun bet, because 3 months is till the end of January. It's middle of February.
Okay, we might cut it out, but can you confirm now that you don't have insider information on that? And if you confirm
I have no insider information on that.
So it's not happening within 3 months, I'm betting.
We can't rig the poly market before it's even started, guys.
I actually bet that they release something in January, because like you just come back for the new year, that's when you're going to see it. Autodesk Agent Kit.
2 months time, huh?
Maybe.
Okay, quickly, last 2, and then we can go on to Suffolk before Will joins us. Trimble Financials simplifies job costing for small contractors. Trimble launched Trimble Financials, an AI-enhanced financial management tool aimed at small business contractors. The financial space is also interesting.
I wonder if that's built on Viewpoint, or if it's like Viewpoint Lite, because Viewpoint's their ERP solution.
Let's quickly Google.
That must be meant to compete with, like, some contractors use QuickBooks or Sage 300, and Viewpoint is quite hefty for them to get on. And then usually as they grow, they move to a tool like Viewpoint.
Yeah, maybe. Doesn't say too much. The logic makes sense, though, what you're saying. Okay, last one. Works Manager adds ISO, data exchange, and 3D visualization. blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's that. So if you didn't go to Trimble Dimensions, now you know everything.
Yeah. Dustin, you popped something on the chat about
Yes.
takeoffs. Do you want to talk about it?
Yes. Also on the news, Insight Partners makes another AI bet. So they just put 30.5 million into attentive.ai. Why I think this is in the takeoff space.
Yeah.
So they're a new takeoff company. I have not, and I'm in pre-con, come across them on any major builder using them. I've tinkered around with their website previously and then even yesterday. So while they say it's AI, it does appear that you send them documents and you get them 1 to 3 days later with the takeoff. So that makes it sound like this is augmented.
Yes. I know what's happening here.
Yeah. And I think that they might be pitching their training models on one of the things that's very hard about takeoff is actually understanding the drawings and getting it correct every single time. I won't say the founder that told me this, but they are an AI company and they've worked with drawings and they've spent a lot of time and they're about 10% off on certain things in drawings. And actually, I don't think any AI companies actually solve that. And this is one of the problems. Once you start using those tools, you realize that you end up getting a lot of things that require a lot of cleanup.
Yeah, 100%.
So the bar is very, very high.
You also, I find it such a fascinating space because there's a lot of tools to the takeoff space. There's a lot of tools out there that exist, AI especially, and like the varying degrees of fundraising. It doesn't seem like the scale of the problem attracts that level of funding that it has so far. That's my point one. And two, also, I don't know of an estimator who will take an AI takeoff that says these are your measurements and then put that straight into their document without like checking it very diligently, because they're just not like that is your job, right? To check these things. Like, I don't think you're just going to trust an AI tool to tell you what you should be putting in your documents. You're going to want to do it yourself.
I think to solve this, we have to really go back to why the problem occurs. And I think the reason, I can be wrong, so I'm happy to be corrected, but I think the reason is it's all down to AutoCAD and the way that technology is structured to produce the drawings. So the way you recreate the lines, you create objects, etc. Every single architect, every single designer, everyone who is doing any lines on the AutoCAD or Rabbet, they're doing it in different way. That's why once you have this in a PDF format, or in IFC format, it is impossible for then the software to read it because it's not done in a what's the word, a uniform way. Yeah. So this is the issue. I'm trying to create right now a little like a software that I can overlay existing and proposed drawings onto each other, and the people who are helping me with it, they say that this is something that's the reason there's no software doing this right now, because this is so difficult to do it, or it's impossible to do it. You need to still have some manual steps that will help the software to like recognize this. So I think the issue is actually with the old technology that everyone is using, which is basing on AutoCAD and Autodesk's software. That's my conclusion.
I think that is one of many contributing factors, and the approach that this company appears to be taking, and mind you, I don't have any inside information, is they also appear to be focusing on some of the easier things to quantify across construction, right? Because if we take it as, you need to quantify everything for a project, then it's a very challenging problem to solve. But like one of the things they talk about is they want to quantify landscaping, or they want to quantify acoustical ceiling. Some of those things are easier to start with as components, and then you can target those specialty trades that are working at that. But I think that, one of the other contributing factors, and Martin, tell me if you agree, like those drawings are wrong. And so like you get in there, me as a human that have looked at drawings for a long time, I get in there, I'm like, these cut sheets don't work. They don't
Yes.
align. Like there is errors in them inherently. And so you're like going through them and you're like, this doesn't make logical sense to me. So what
How
is
can
the
you get a right takeoff? Yeah.
what's the AI
Yeah.
tool going to be doing with it?
So now
Spazzing
we're
out.
getting into conversation of like authoring tools, and I actually think that I'm super excited about like all of the new authoring tools, and I really hope that they will make the designer's job easier so that the designers can be almost eliminated. Yeah. And just because every single thing outside as a next step from when you should have the drawings done is more and more difficult because there's no like a uniform way of presentation of these drawings in a digital way. This is where the problems kind of keep piling up. You can't get
Well, I mean, like, just like you look at a wall elevation and you will have things shown on the wall of elevation that should be shown on the floor plans. And so what is the correct quantity? They conflict. So what is the AI agent going to do? You're like,
give your wrong answer and you.
I mean, build a hospital and tell me that all of the electrical and IT have been coordinated with all of the devices that are going to be installed in that room. It's never happened. Everyone spends a shit ton of time doing that, and like, good luck trying to figure out what the right quantity is.
You could go to a few places with this, and where you're then passing the risk on to get it right as well. Not the designers typically.
My favorite quote, I'll leave it, is we've been working on this, but we 100% of the time we're off on something with the doors about 10% of the time.
Bang on. Okay, we'll blast through this because Will is about to join us. But so next week we will be doing a live stream with the Suffolk cohort, or Suffolk Boost 6 cohort, to give you a quick rundown of the companies that will be there. We have Archi, getarchi.com. We have Cypher Autonomy, Cypher-autonomy.com. I'm just reading out the names so people can go and check out the websites because it would take us too long to read each of the bios. We have Dig Energy. Website is literally dig.energy. Hardline AI, which is hardlineapps.com. We have Mod, www.mod.construction.
What happened, Dustin?
Neuronfactory.ai. Oros Materials, OUROS, materials.com, and Puppet Robotics, and I think it's puppetrobotics.com. And in addition to that, we will be speaking to Parker, who will join us from Suffolk to talk about the program. We'll have Jikki, who's the CTO from Suffolk Construction. We'll have David Hindley from Autodesk. He maybe, Dustin, had some involvement with Building Connected.
I know David really well. He led our transaction, so he was the lead of our acquisition.
Nice.
Yes. Looking at his bio, I don't know if there's anyone more accredited to do mergers and acquisitions in this business. 22 years or in Autodesk doing M&A.
He's bought a lot of companies. Yes.
Yeah.
And then Dustin, hopefully you'll join us at the end if you get time.
Yep.
And then we will also have Goldbeck, as the innovation team from Goldbeck, joining.
Is Fabian coming or?
No, Bjorn and Danny.
Okay.
So looking forward to that. Next Wednesday, we will be going live at 10 a.m. Eastern time, and we're scheduled for 3 hours and 20 minutes, Martin.
Woo!
We need to get an energy drink sponsor or something. That's our next next acquisition.
That's what I'm targeting for my marathon time.
Oh, okay.
3 hours, 20 minutes? You drink marathon?
Not this year, early next year.
Oh, so you could join us at the end, the last 20 minutes.
Be careful.
Yeah.
All right, let's get
Be
Will in.
Be careful at your knees, please.
I'm glad you're here for the advice, Martin. Okay, Will, I am clicking let in, but it's not letting him in. Seems we have a technical. Oh no, here.
There
Will
we
is
go.
here. Hey, what's up, Will? You have some loud background noise, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a party going on.
How about
Hey,
you try to
change
switch
your
the
Your microphone's
noise
currently on the
cancellation?
MacBook Pro. If you change it to your AirPods, maybe it'll cancel down slightly.
I was going to ask, how's the party going?
Oh, maybe because you're live. Yeah. If you leave, change it, then rejoin. You'll be in. Hey guys, as Will does that, what's your sentiment towards construction payments and the payment kind of mechanism within construction? I mean, this is such a deep conversation, but
Are we talking like construction companies or construction industry?
industry generally. I mean, I think it's like a very difficult industry because as a contractor, you're always like cash flowing your client's projects, and it's like when your client gets paid, you get paid. Get paid, right? And then in addition to
But
that,
even
you experience which everyone I know has a pet hate over here in the UK called retention. So these people also hold back like 3 to 5% of the total amount of money they owe you. Then it's literally a lottery whether you will get that money in the 12 months after this period expires. Like no one knows. It depends on whether your client has a cash flow and so on and so forth at that time. And that is like thinking about it. If you've got like a 3 to 5% margin, I mean, margins are already sub 5% in the industry anyway. So there's a good chunk of profit just in the bank's financial system somewhere, which is not in the right hands. What do you think?
I think it's very inflationary. It's very inflationary, the current structure.
What do you mean by inflationary here?
Well, when people like, sometimes I see retention at 10%, right?
Wow.
And what you just said, Owen, is, hey, a lot of people don't even expect to make that. So what do? They book their profit backing out how much they're not going to get paid. So this is added cost. And like, it's going to be really hard to ever solve that problem, the expectation. So expectation, creates the value of stocks and everything else. Like, is this going to grow or is it going to shrink? So this expectation is built into the system. And as like delays happen and more people expect it, you raise your fees because you're like expecting to get paid, 90% on what you're actually submitting a bid for. So it's inflationary.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think it's like a one-off inflationary, right? Well, I don't know actually. I actually don't know how to think about this from your angle point of view. I know that for like mine completely insignificant small engineering consultancy, I've got that. every single month, like I've got around 1.5 months of a monthly revenue as a backlog payments, not paid. So it's kind of keeps rolling and people are deferring it and then trying to blackmail you that, oh, you need to send us this first, then you will get paid, this kind of stuff. So
yeah. Hey, Will, it's still a little bit loud, but I think it's manageable. We were just having a quick primer on construction payments. So give us the lowdown. I think your headline of your report says 299 billion is the cost to the US construction market attributable to slow construction payments, right?
Yeah, I mean, the headline is that the time it takes for a contractor, a subcontractor to wait to get paid on a project is unbelievably costly. They tap into credit cards, personal savings, retirement, all this other money to be able to like fund their projects. And as you saw, even confidence of running their businesses, there's a lot of contractors that are losing confidence that they can even, stay, in business because they're waiting so often for their payments. And it's just a tax on the ecosystem that's not necessary.
And I think it's more difficult when you want to grow as well, because if you have to keep this like keep these retainers unpaid, and you want to grow, you're swapping into larger projects, then you need to kind of retain the money that you don't have, obviously, because that's not your usual percentage of. Sorry, that's not the usual amount of a percentage of a project turnover. Yeah, there's actually
you're 100% right. A contractor is more likely to go out of business while growing than in a downturn because they take on too much work. They like aren't getting paid because like they're hiring people and they don't have the working capital to run their business. And so a growing business is actually more dangerous for a contractor or a
Exactly.
subcontractor, which is crazy. It shouldn't be that way.
Hey, Will, what is the average retention you see on commercial construction?
Commercial construction in the US is pretty standard 10% retainage.
Wow. That's
and
insane.
Yeah.
Like, I've never heard that in the
Till
they'll
UK.
when?
reduce it.
Till when?
Depending
when?
on the project and the terms and stuff, they'll reduce it to 5%, like when you're 50% complete or something like that. But generally, 10% is normal. But we're not even talking about the retainage. Usually, retainage is kind of like your profit or your additional margin that'll help you guys, like, make money on the business. This is just like getting paid on your actual work. Forget the retention, just the money that's going to be there. When you need to pay your subs, pay your people, pay your vendors. So
Yeah, Will, what else from the report should we highlight here that you came across, which was surprising?
yeah, I mean, hey, of course we're trying to highlight some of the value of software and making these things faster. Everybody wants to talk about AI and how AI is changing everything, but we've done this report 7 years in a row and the number's not getting better. So the fact that there's AI out there, like this number stayed exactly the same 14% last year to this year. So when you talk about all these tools here, AI, everything, unless we solve the way that this ecosystem collaborates with each other to get the transfer of information between organizations more seamless, you're not going to solve the problem. There's like Fed funds now in the US that allows you kind of instant payments. Like payments are near instant these days. Like it's amazing to me, like, my buddy wants something, Venmo, 5 seconds later, I get it. But as a subcontractor, I submit an invoice, it goes to the GC, then it goes to the developer, then it goes to the bank, then it goes back to the developer, then it goes to the GC. That just takes so much time. And, technology like Rabbet is there to try to help and make this problem, reduced. I'd love to see this number start to come down because that would mean that we're starting to be successful here, but we're not making enough of an impact yet.
Well, let me ask you a different question. Why would any owner want to accelerate their payments?
Yeah. So in our research, and we have another report that we do, the State of Construction Finance, we find that the bank obviously wants to pay faster because they get more interest. So they want the money out as quickly as possible. The owners will only recruit and retain the best subs and the general contractors if they pay well. So if you look at the report actually quantifies that, a large percentage of real estate general contractor subcontractors will refuse to bid on a project for an owner that has a bad payment reputation. And so if you don't pay well, you will not get the best subcontractors. They won't show up to your project. They'll leave and go to another project and not come back. We really believe everybody benefits from faster payments.
So why, in your opinion, don't more owners embrace that? I mean, in my experience, and I was on the biggest, I don't know if it's still, but it was the biggest lien in American history on City Center in Las Vegas. I'll tell you what, they did not care about payments
Because
they
it's
cared about getting
cultural.
their asset. They cared about getting their asset open, and they wanted to retain as much capital as they could and pay out as slow as possible. So why don't they care?
I think like in any market, you've got people that are short-term focused or selfish like that. I'm trying to talk holistically in our research. That is not the majority of folks. There's a lot of perception that GCs hold on to payments to earn float on the payments and hold off on paying subs. Our research says that the vast majority of the industry is aligned around faster payments, but there are certainly, like in any market, there's bad eggs who would not care and will, be slave drivers and other sorts of activities.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe it though, because, well, just to continue, I want to continue to pull on this thread a little bit because payments is such an interesting space. You take some of the largest institutional builders, and some of them have the worst payment flows and the most documentation and the most rigor to ever get paid. And so, yet, you would think that because they build the most, they would solve this problem. And I agree with you. The GCs are not trying to make money on this float. They're going to get paid when paid. But the largest builders, healthcare institutions, higher education, even some of the data center builders, the payments, how they process payments is unbelievably laborious for everyone involved. And they don't want to solve it.
What's their, Dustin, what is their margin, like a net margin that they leave, there's left after everything? Because I think the reason for that is that people operate on such a tight margins that they want to keep the money with them as the longer they can. And I think that's the only reason, like mechanically, you would think, why is it happening like that? So people want to defer the payments as much as they can because there's a tight margin. If the margins were larger, that will be a different story. Margins are not larger because there's a race to the bottom most of the time. People are trying to compete on the price only. That's my impression of what the reasons are.
Yeah, my impression has always been that the owners, well, and it depends on the type of owner you are, but that they're incentivized to slow pay from a cash flow perspective. Like, if they're debt financing it, they're going to start accruing the debt more quickly. If they're doing it off the balance sheet, cash flow is impacted. They always want to defer it as much as possible.
Yeah.
So, like, the only way we can solve this is to find incentives for owners. And we can say that you'll get better contractors. That's a tough sell because at the end of the day, they're selling dollars and cents to Wall Street. So I haven't heard anyone actually propose what's the right incentives there. Curious.
I guess what I'm telling is subcontractors in so high demand these days. General contractors are in so high demand. Like and it's changing all the time, right? The market goes up, the market goes down. But at least over the last couple of years, it was really hard to get subcontractors and general contractors to bid on your project, much less take the job. And so when that happened, they were starting to put payment terms into their contracts, push back on pay when paid. But I guess what I would say, Dustin, is we see as many folks that want to solve this problem as don't. And certainly we're biased because we're talking to the people who want to solve this problem, not the people who don't want to solve this problem. But we really believe that the incentive of getting great people out there, getting them paid, and frankly, our research says that if you pay your vendors faster, they will benefit you in ways that will save you money on the project, more so than if you held on to the money and slow rolled it. And so like, that's the whole goal of the research here, is to say like, hey, the subcontractor's actually putting an extra 2% into their contract because they know they're going to incur all these financing costs. If you actually just paid net 30, you would save that 2%, and that 2% is better than the like whatever 6.5 divided by 12 you're going to make on that float for it. So, but like connecting that line between the slow processing of that healthcare company or the like all those institutions that you just mentioned and the subcontractor's true costs is literally the point of the report, is to try to make that connection so that we get those folks that like think, oh, well, we'll just like slow play it, so that like they think there's no cost to them for slow payments. It's a whole goal, is we're trying to say there actually is a huge cost to that. And you're not seeing the true cost if you're looking at it myopically at your organization.
I completely agree with you. There is a true cost, but this is also, Martin, when I said it's inflationary, those are these inflationary aspects. They just start marking up these things, and the longer they pay to, especially in a hot market, it becomes more inflationary. Well, fine, if you want a great contractor, I'm this. And then sometimes they choose the great one because they want the project to get done.
Hey, Will, we're gonna have to cut this one, and we've got someone else coming in. But thanks for joining, everyone. Check out Rabbet if you're not listening. Of course, it was the
thanks guys. Sorry about the background noise. Good to meet you all. Have a great one.
You're all good, man. Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks. Even here in the UK, Travis Perkins, which is a supplier, last week they increased the payments from 30 days to 60 days. And I think this is one of the largest material suppliers.
Oh, wow. Hey, David.
Okay. Hey, David.
Hello. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, good. David just said there is like a really strong echo on your
David just said there is like
maybe
a really
coming out the speakers or something.
On your, background. Maybe that's coming out the speakers or something. Let's see.
What were you saying, Martin? Travis Perkins.
What were you saying, Martin? Travis
Perkins last week they increased the payment
payment.
terms to all of their suppliers from 30 days to 60 days.
Yep.
And that was unannounced. And I think that that's because of in the UK right now, the construction is quite a tight space. There's less work and their cash flows are also impacted. So yeah, that's not great for Travis Perkins suppliers. Yeah, so people now need to wait 60 days to get money back from the end of the month into which they submit the invoice. So it can be even 90 days if you submit your invoice at the beginning of the month, right?
Wait, so how does
And
Travis
we only talk about subcontractors on payments, but let me tell you, managing accounts receivable as a technology company is quite challenging.
Oh, yeah.
It's not the easiest.
In a construction company is absolutely
Come on,
ludicrous.
you guys have these IRRs only like 10 million IRR, and it just comes into the bank account every
ARR,
month,
Martin.
and that's it.
Yeah. David, it's still echoing.
Yeah, is it still echoing?
It's still echoing.
Yeah, I just have the basic setup here. Should I dial back in again?
Yeah, David, usually the problem is when you have your sound coming out the speakers, it's deflecting in the room and then playing back into the microphone, which is why we can hear it. So if you have headphones, it will save the problem.
Yeah, let me see here. Nope. I don't have headphones set up at the moment, so let me see if I can get something working here.
Sure. We'll give you a minute. David, also, if you're connecting a new device, you'll have to leave and come back.
What was that?
If you're connecting a new device, you'll have to go back to the lobby, connect them, then come back in.
Okay. All right, let me do that.
Cool.
Sorry about that.
Cool. No worries, you're good.
No worries, we're good.
I actually think on the payment side, so you guys might laugh, but so I've been waiting for a solution for payments in construction for like at least 5 years. When I got interested into blockchain and how these the payments can be potentially sorted through the blockchain, and nothing has happened. So like to me, the way it should be, but it's obviously idealistic and you can throw it to the rubbish, that once something is done, it should trigger some certain protocols, certain alerts, and things should be automatically transferred to smart
100%.
contracts onto the bank account of the other side. But the reason why it's not there, no one wants it because they know the margins are shit and they don't have cash flows. People want to hold to your money as long as they can. That's the only reason. It is a structural and cultural problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, let's just say you're doing like a multifamily development, you want to defer as much cash as possible until that thing's open and generating revenue. Like,
of course.
Yeah. I mean, if people actually valued, getting the best quality asset installed, there would be no hard bid work. You would have everything would be negotiated GMP, and there's a ton of hard bid work because hard bid is lowest dollar, not best value, and
all right,
yeah, and so it's very good.
David, are you back?
David.
Are you here? Can you hear us?
Hello. I can hear you. Yeah.
Ah, yeah, perfect.
Success.
No echo. All right, David, we have 10 minutes. Hit us. NxLite, could you tell us how do you pronounce it? NxLite, is that right, or NextLite?
NextLite.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
NextLite, as in NextLite.
Go for it. So tell us a little bit about the company. You guys raise. Apologies, I haven't got my notes in front of me.
9.2 million Series A to expand operations for next generation energy control Windows coatings. That sounds like super interesting, tangible thing. So tell us more.
Yeah. So we're a nanotech company. We make an advanced energy control coating for windows and transparent substrates. Right. These advanced coatings are very, very thin, about 200 nanometers, about 500 times smaller than a human hair. So they can't be seen by the naked eye. But what it actually does is provide a thermal management layer or light filter on a transparent substrate. So basically, think about it in a window in a home or a building. You want to keep the heat out in the summer and the cold in. And in the winter, you want to
Mhm.
do the opposite. You want to keep the heat in the building and
Mhm.
the cold out of the building. And that's what these energy control coatings do
Mm.
in very, very effective way, basically, to basically
So
save
it's
energy.
like it is like a breathable membrane to the wall, really, but obviously in a different, in different way. Yeah. So is it like what happened that you kind of like now are able to figure out um, how to do it? Like, is it technology has improved, or like what's the
Yeah,
reason that is feasible right now?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. It's actually been feasible for a while. For about 4 decades, there have been energy control coatings for windows, mainly by the large glass manufacturers. What's really different when we come to the market are two things. One, our chemistry is what's called open air stable. All of the coatings that exist in the world today are toxic to oxygen. So they have to be in a
Hmm.
double pane window, sealed and filled with argon, because oxygen corrodes these coatings. Ours does not,
Mm.
which means we could do monolithic solutions, single pane solutions, and work in areas nobody else could. The other thing that's very different is we're the only company in the world that can coat polymeric materials like polycarbonate or PMMA, which is acrylic. So there's many industries that use that material for their window and have never had the advantage of an energy control coating, like trains, planes, automobiles, greenhouses, RVs, skylights, commercial refrigeration, um, agricultural equipment, construction equipment. All of these industries use these lightweight materials. And then when you combine the two, where windows are going in the world today are to go, they need to get very lightweight because they're going to multi-pane, triple pane, and quadruple pane. The windows get very big and very heavy. So you need lighter weight materials to do these windows. And so because we can coat very lightweight materials like Corning thin glass or polycarbonate or acrylic, we can help the industry make very, very lightweight windows that are the same size, shape, and weight as the double pane window with triple and quadruple pane. So that's kind of what we, with the big advantage we bring to the market with
That's
this
awesome.
energy control coating.
Mm.
Hmm.
Dustin, do you have
How
one?
how often does how sorry, I just wanted to ask how often does a coating company get funded to bring a new solution
Yeah,
to life?
very seldom, if any, because there's not a lot of people who I guess were crazy enough to try and solve this problem. It's very, very expensive. The factory that you see behind me is at a minimum about $15 million to build such a factory. And you actually need to be at scale to demonstrate this to work. And so the companies that do coatings today, they're running like every 30 seconds to a minute, a piece of glass is coming off their line. So they're not doing any R&D. They have no interest in helping figure out how to do it on plastics because that's a threat to their business. And they haven't really decided to try and solve this open air problem. And so the founders of the company that I run now were brave enough to try and solve the problem. They did solve the problem. We found a way cost effectively to prove it at scale, and now we exist. But there's very few what you would consider independent coating companies in the world, so it also makes it very unique for us and getting us a lot of business right now. So
Hmm. My understanding from like physics of construction physics was that the gap in the between the panes is to for the air to heat up in bad weather, or to keep it cool within if
yeah,
there's a bad weather,
it's
there's
very
good weather.
critical. Yeah, the size of the gap is very critical. The gap actually provides an insulation layer. But what's really
Yeah.
important in the physics is that the coatings that we use, or these physics layers for light filtering, they need to be as close as possible to the source of heat. So even though you want a gap there, when you do multi-pane windows, triple pane and quadruple pane, today they're putting the coatings so far away from where the heat is that they're not as effective as they could be. But because
Mm.
we can coat these really thin, lightweight materials, we can put that coating in the middle. And
Hmm.
so it's a combination of the gap, where the coating is, what type of coating is. There's a lot of different things that add up to, really what you're trying to do. In the south, you want a different coating than you do in the north. In the north, in the winter, you want to let some of that heat through to help. In the south, you don't want any of that heat to come through. So there's a
Hmm.
really complex world there. But yeah, the size of the gap is very important. So the thinner the pane in the middle, the larger the gap can be without making the mullion too big and making the window too heavy.
Mm.
Hmm.
David, quick question. Is there, I'm guessing the answer is no. Is there a way to add this coating on existing
No.
windows? No.
No, yeah. So this happens at the factory level. So, they can add films, but films don't really achieve what you're really trying to achieve.
Right.
But what we do offer, which is one of the big products we have in the market, is because we can be open air stable, meaning we don't oxidize with oxygen, we make single pane retrofits. So 40% of all the buildings in North America still have single pane windows, and there's
Yeah.
no ROI to replace them. So we can actually take a panel, slide it into the existing window frame at a fraction of the cost of a new window with no installation costs. That building will save about 40% of their energy bill and reduce their
Wow.
carbon footprint by about 25%. And so we
Amazing.
can do that because it forms a gap of oxygen between two panes. So nobody else can do that. So retrofitting, they call it secondary glazing, is a big industry for us. So that's how you can do that, in the field and retrofit without having to put the coating on the existing glass in the building.
Mm-hmm. Are you putting any patent on this? Sorry. So I'm trying to
Yeah, go
hijack
ahead.
it. Dustin, go on.
Yeah, we have several patents around this. The process, we have specialized materials that allow us to do this, as well as the entire, what they call sputtering process. We've developed a cold sputtering solution that allows us to work with materials that otherwise would melt in a sputtering tool.
David, I mean, what you're working on is insanely expensive, and I know 9.2 million is a lot of money, but when we're talking about in the scheme of things, are you guys are going to raise more capital? I don't know where you are in revenue or
look,
cash
the
burn,
good
but it doesn't seem like a heck of a lot of money.
It doesn't, and I'll tell you why. We got really lucky. The factory that you see behind us was brand new, built by another company. They lost their customer base. They ran into some financial troubles, and so we were able to secure this facility at pennies on the dollar. So big excitement for us and for other young companies out there. I encourage you to think outside the box. We initially leased the factory from them because they were in financial trouble, so we didn't have to find the capital to build it. And then we were lucky enough to buy it, very, very inexpensively. So we've been using capital pretty well. We had a lot of grants in the company early on, so non-dilutive capital that helped get started and get things developed. And we also partnered with some very large companies to help us strategically. And this is typically what you see in a lot of young companies. So we've been very capital efficient. So the money that we just raised, we're doing a second close. We're going to add about another 3.5 million on top of that. That's open for the next 120 days. And that really, believe it or not, will get us to EBITDA positive. So we'll raise more money because we'll have to build more factories. Capacity is our problem right now. We can do about 20 million square feet of coated product in this factory today. And we'll tap that out in the next year and a half. So we're already starting to think about building our next factory. But the unit economics on this business are quite good. $15 million gets you about $700 million in positive cash flow over a 10-year model. So, once you have your multi-year contracts, your large customers, and you have the demand in front of you, building a factory is quite lucrative for this business.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Super impressive product, David.
Very interesting. Tangible stuff is always super interesting.
Yeah. Real difference to the world. So, David, thank you so much for joining us. We have another one coming in right now. So, good luck.
Okay,
David,
good luck with the race.
That's really cool.
Yeah, great
All
stuff.
right. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
David.
Take care. Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking? Like, what I'm thinking is like about patents, right? Why tangible businesses have patents and software companies they don't? I would actually hate. I would actually hate it. I would actually hate it, but like that's kind of interesting to think about it. Like, why is it this way?
Hey guys,
It's structured this
how's it going?
Hey,
Vardhan.
Hey, Vardhan.
Do you hear me okay?
We can hear you
Yep.
fine.
Maybe not yet.
Can you hear us? Hello. I read
We
today
can
that
hear
there
we
was
are
like
0 for 3. We
Yeah,
are
I
0
read
for
today
3.
there was this cannibal storm happening in the UK, which is like where all those like electronic services go down or something. So maybe we are experiencing it today on this.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we ever have problems in all 3.
Nope. There we go. Yeah, cannibal storm is heading into Britain. It's about to cause chaos.
So
It
I
already
think
is
we
causing chaos.
just need to raise a Bricks and Bytes fund.
Yeah.
We can just jump into.
What, for
No.
all these? For all these people?
I
Hey,
already
guys,
have
do you hear
some
me?
money on the side.
Yeah.
Hey.
The proceeds from
Do
the
you hear
poly
me now?
market.
Yeah,
Vardhan, can you hear
better?
us?
We can hear you well. We can hear you well.
Yeah. Do you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes.
Okay,
Can you hear
super.
us?
Yes, I do. I do.
Woo! It's working. Okay,
Good to meet you
Vardhan.
all.
And you, tell us.
Nice to meet you too.
13.5 million Series A. Materials
Yeah.
management. What's going on?
Let me maybe do a quick background, if it's okay to start. So I'm a
Go for it.
second-gen architect by background. My dad's an architect, uncle's an engineer in India. Grew up obsessed with the practice, profession, industry from an early age. I came to New York and practiced at a top 10 firm, designed projects for the State Department and institutional clients like MIT and Yale. And for some reason, I was dealing a lot with material selections and specifications in the projects. And we're seeing this trend that, all the different staff members at my office had their own piecemeal tools they used at different stages in the workflow. And so did the contractors, the owners on the project. And at the same time, I was realizing how much influence is in the hands of architects, engineers, designers, and of course, later in the project, owners and the contractors in deciding where are we allocating that up to half the cost of the project and what manufacturers and the products we end up using. Like sometimes I would see these bills from, or during submittals, the POs from manufacturers and, being a junior architect at a 60,000 a year salary, I would see sometimes these outcomes of my decisions, which were in the tens of millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So it felt like there had to be a
Mhm.
smarter way that wasn't all these like piecemeal tools, an Allen wrench and a screwdriver, but the entire toolbox for the project to use.
Mhm.
And started Acelab during grad school, and the vision was really to build an operating system for materials the way we have Rabbet or BIM generally for design documentation.
Mhm.
Reflecting on that now, 4 years ago, I was a naive architect and building tech, and my first reaction was the best tech in this industry should win, right? And then 2 years
Always.
later, as we did our initial launch, I was like, well, actually, it's not only about the best tech. You need distribution to win.
Mm.
And now, more recently, the exciting time we all live in as founders, operators, investors, my thesis is you don't even just need distribution, but you need durability. And I think we've seen examples more recently in our industry where maybe some high-flying startup that was a one-trick pony did one thing very well, later only to be obliterated by the legacy platforms in the industry.
Mm.
And for me, durability is a combination of owning the data and the workflow. So from what I know about Edify, I think Dustin is a very good
Edify.
example of owning both the data and the workflow. That is, to me, right now is the definition of durability. And so that's what we're
Mhm.
doing with Acelab. We've offered the industry the most robust database, every manufacturer, all the data points you might need to look at to make a decision in one place. On top of that, end-to-end workflow tools from initial research all the way to integration to Rabbet.
Mhm. So
I
who's
actually,
Go, Dustin.
so what you're doing is particularly interesting to some of the stuff that we want to accomplish with Edify. So after this, I would like to connect and get a presentation
Yeah.
on your software.
We're always facilitating business deals. in here.
However, first question though is what company were you referencing that got obliterated that didn't have
Yeah.
durability?
There's a few, man. I mean, like right now we're about to bring on a head of AI, and my profile for hiring a head of AI was I want somebody that was at like the voice AI startup number 19, where they were too saturated, in like the AI hype and the prep stack. And that has been really successful. And I think that like the same thing is happening in our industry too. Like there's agents being built which don't really have the data or the workflow. It's just a standalone thing. And as soon as the platforms, I mean, yesterday we heard the announcement from Trimble. Earlier we heard it from Procore, or Autodesk is probably on the way too, right?
Oh,
I feel like that's the risk in not owning the data and the workflow.
He's talking about tractors and Procore.
Well,
Yeah, I mean that's one example, but I feel like there's others.
well, I think from a durability perspective, the biggest one you should reference is probably Katera. That company had no idea what they were doing and blew through billions of dollars, and they didn't understand where risk lied in the business. But let's go. Let's
I do agree with that, but I will say just on durability, I think that inherently is also valuable for the customers, where they don't have to rely on I need X and Y, and I need data to flow from X and Y, or I need to make sure they talk to each other, but it's inherently built into the platform.
Well, here's an interesting why durability also matters for the customer. And here's one of the things in construction we often customers often equate durability to how long a company's been around, and that's absolutely wrong. Longevity in technology does not mean sustainability moving forward. In fact, now the older you are, it can be indicative that you're about to lose all of your customers.
I know where this is
It's
going.
actually one of the biggest risk factors out there.
True.
But some customers are like, oh, well, they've been around a long time. They must be stable. I'm like, that's
Till now.
not true. Yeah, that's definitely not true.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on your company, this has actually been tried before. I don't know if you know some of the origin stories of some of the specification catalog companies. This goes all the way back to about 2000, because I have done research on this many times over in my life. So what have you learned from some of those failed attempts? Some of them are still around, by the way.
Yeah. I've learned that a library is not enough, because often libraries mean you are paying to play for data and access to data, and that may have been fine. Actually, Dustin, it goes back to like 1900. That was the first attempt, and that was Suites. And Suites was actually really good. Like Suites owned the market. It was all structured data in these like really big books that everybody could have, and that was all the options available in the marketplace. And then internet happened.
Yeah.
And now all the data is all over the place, scattered, silo, all of the above. And so I've learned that first, a library just in itself is not enough. Like you need ways for the customer and architect, owner, the contractor to get an answer to the thing that they need to optimize for in a project or a specification. And that often requires recommendations, expertise. And to me, the most fun thing with Acelab is we've generated a language of materials. Like we've built a taxonomy that we can easily define any window, tile, roofing, insulation that may exist anywhere in the world. We understand what is the taxonomy of a window. What are the certifications, the cost thresholds, design options we need to account for. And so that is the foundation of Acelab. On top of that, of course, using that structured data, we build a two-sided platform. For the supply side, we offer them Acelab as a growth engine, where every action on the demand side, meaning architects, owners, the contractors, we can translate into a valuable insight for a supplier or manufacturer, why they win, why they lose in the market. And for the demand side, we've offered them an end-to-end workflow platform where they don't need to keep access to their data or only rely on the historical data they might have at the firm level.
I have a story about this.
Go on.
Go ahead. All right. So one story
go.
real quick. When I was doing Building Connected, one of the things we wanted to get into, because we were aggregating information on all projects in real time, is extracting that and start building a material. So getting into what you're doing. And I sat down, and I don't mind sharing this name. I sat down with Philips Lighting. And Philips Lighting, because they were thinking about investing, they're like, we actually hope you're not successful. And I said, why is that? He's like, well, because, and it has to do with all new products come to market all the time. Why do they not get put into projects? People don't know about them. And so when you're sitting here at Philips, if they bring a new product to market, they can instantaneously shove it down every design firm, every contractor, every owner's throats. If you're a mom and pop, you don't have that mechanism. So this actually gives you a vehicle to do that. That was one of the theses that we wanted to do at Building Connected. You create this network of builders. Now you have the ability to help the supply side actually get discovery.
And in doing that, you actually, in a way, you can dictate the market trends. Like the way we recommend a specific product, which may be a superior alternative. In this case, I'll use the example of Philips lighting, right? Now, like the other thing though that architects, owners, or the contractors need is, hey, great, I like the specs on the product, but how do I trust it? Like, how much risk
Right.
do I need to take on to use this thing for the first time? And that's where you need access to the reps and suppliers and dealers and whatnot. So we've also built a portal through which the product you use is no longer a function of what reps you already have a relationship with, that send you a gift during the holiday season. But now you can actually access the other reps as well. So you don't only have to rely on your vendors.
Nice.
More gifts.
Vardhan, can you
great.
tell us? Can you give us some clues as to where this capital will be allocated? Like, where are you in the kind of life cycle of the company?
Yeah. So right now, both on the data and the workflow side, we've accounted for North America. One of the key mandates for this round is expansion to key global regions, starting with EMEA. Second is we're going to be expanding to contractors, not to displace any systems of record or action they're already using, but as an integration layer. A challenge right now for contractors is architects or the design teams will dump all these documents into an Autodesk Cloud, Procore, etc. And the contractors need to manually go through them to identify what is actually the spec. And if they can't find the spec, what is the value engineering substitute options, right? So we'll build towards that. And the third mandate is like as we've expanded into over half of the top 100 AEC firms at this moment, and especially the architecture and design firms, I should say, we have all these opportunities for how can we layer in more AI functionality that increases the value of Acelab as a platform. So we'll be investing heavily into it. Meaning, like we have an agent on the platform where an architect can get a recommendation for all of our data, but architects want that to cross-reference that with their own data and their documents from projects.
Very cool.
Vardhan, I wanted to touch on the pricing. Looking at your website, my impression is that you have not figured out the pricing yet, or that's my impression. I will leave it here. So I just wanted to find out how you're thinking about it right now and how you think you will think about it later. And also looking at like two sets of people that you will be charging, architects plus owners, manufacturers, and distributions as a two subsets of customers. My feeling is that manufacturers and distributors will be your main paying customers, not the architects and owners. Would you agree or not?
Yeah. To an extent, yes. So we don't have pricing yet for architects and owners. Until now, we charge manufacturers as we were building out tools for the other side of the platform, and access to them was free until now. For architects and owners. Now in Q1, we're about to launch our enterprise plans for architects and owners. For architects, the use case is very simple. It's an annual subscription. We're not doing seats or number of projects. We don't want that to be the limit to how much they use the platform, being a two-sided platform. For owners, the value is maintaining and enforcing their brand standards. So it could be a real estate developer, it could be a retail brand or an institution. They need to maintain the quality, risk, visibility into what are the materials being selected. That's going to be the value prop. And for them, again, it'll be a SaaS annual license.
And you think where the majority of IRR will be coming from? Which side? Architects, owners, or the manufacturers and distributors?
The IRR, the way we think of it, is actually not the revenue we generate from either side, but it's the usage we generate from the demand side. So architects and owners, because that drives value for the other side of the platform. And the more they use it, the more sticky we are in their workflows. And it's harder to quantify that. It's harder to underwrite something which is not a dollar value, but it is clicks and weekly active usage, let's say.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Okay, Vardhan, thank you so much for joining us. Best of luck with the product.
Vardhan, we hanging out?
Owen.
One question.
You could go for one.
What breadth of products do you cover right now? What
Anything
CSI
that
codes?
is anything there price is not the end all and be all. So we don't go after cement and ductwork and the piping and whatnot. As long as there is more than one criteria to make a decision,
Okay.
that's in scope for Acelab.
So that would mean like thermal insulation you might cover, right? Because
Because you
there's
have
more
to, you have to look at the cost, you have to look at the efficiency, R values and whatnot. Absolutely.
Okay. Very interesting.
Nice.
Super. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Right.
Really appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Vardhan.
Big fan of the pod.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Vardhan.
man.
Have a good
Take
one.
care.
Bye.
Yeah.
Make sure you
See
set
ya.
up a date with Dustin then.
I was trying to make some sense of the comments, and a lot of people have commented on the LinkedIn feed, actually. Shout out to Victor, said GTM race sounds expensive. I think that's in relation to the AI discussion that we had earlier on. Peter has posted some link to an article. People can check that out and read it if they get a moment. And he says procurement must become strategic. I'm not sure in response to what. Daniel Beecham says sounds like what would make any business win in their industry, Dustin. Maybe we're going to find the exact timestamp for that. And
What
he's
would
also
make any
shouting out-
business win in the end?
He's shouting out his company, Prop Agent. Cool. Check out the comments there. All right, guys. Shall we wrap up? Martin needs to go and do some martini drinking, pina colada sipping,
Yeah.
sunbathing.
You
No,
should
that's
bring a martini on the show with you next time.
If you're saying so, then I will allow. No, next time I will see you on Thursday probably in Boston, right? So we can
Well,
have martini.
we have plenty of martinis there, live.
Yeah, we can do a
Oh.
drinking show.
No, we're good.
One drink.
I don't drink anymore.
Same. I don't drink. That's why. So I said, okay, we can do that drinking show.
And that'd just be tragic. Cool. Okay, guys, that was fun. Thank you so much. See you next week.
Thanks.